Hey guys, Sabrina here. I'm sitting in my hotel in Phoenix. It is stinking hot today, and I swear I've been sweating more than I'm proud of. But it's all good. It's all a quality problem. I had a quick dip in the pool, and now I'm ready to hang out with you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to join the live stream. And of course, this is all about talking about the 5-day Authentic Confidence Challenge. We're going to talk about congruency, right? Congruency. So we're going to talk about that, but I also want to share some of the cool stuff that I've been up to today. So I'm going to do that, but of course I'm just going to head over to the group and let everybody know that I am alive, so then they can come over. I am live now. Cool bananas. Nice. Okay, cool. So that's it. We're ready. Cool bananas. Yeah, so as I say, I'm in Phoenix at the moment. I've been really spoiled for the last couple of days in a beautiful retreat, hanging out with my juicy crew, which is another part of my business that I've been involved with for the last 2 years, before really stepping up my confidence coaching business. And it's still nice to, to be able to connect and or just hang around some amazing leaders. So after leaving the other hotel this morning, we've got to have a really cool rooftop kind of party, meeting, chat, whatever you want to call it, and I was invited to be part of the panel of all the leaders, how we've been able to create a successful business. And it was really cool to hear other people share their view and their part on what it takes. And it was exactly that what I've always talked about, that success truly isn't about how much you do, but it is about who you are. So we were talking about believe in self, believe in the product, the services that you're offering, the industry that you're in, but also confidence, how to rock it, how to overcome obstacles, and the journey that you kind of have to take on yourself if you truly wanting to create success on your own terms. We all know at the end of the day, success leaves clues and leaves trails. So it was awesome chats going on today. And of course, I got to talk about confidence and how to stay true to yourself, how to not get lost in, comparing yourself to everybody else, but also how to learn to, step outside your comfort zone. And just reminded me that obviously I'm so congruent to my message, to what it is that I do, that it's very close to my heart, and I will not be sharing anything else but teaching women how to become authentically confident in rocking their business, rocking their bodies, and being a authentic badass. In fact, what's been happening over the last few days is kind of it's really cool, because people come up to me and say, hey badass, you're the badass, I love watching your stuff. I've been getting comments on the back of the challenge, women saying, hey, just letting you know that today, no fuck given. And I'm like, that's so cool, because that's obviously a little tagline when I'm always saying that I'm daring you to be a badass and fiercely authentic with hashtag no fuck given. So even though the language is probably not child friendly, it is obviously true to my message, and it's really catching a trend. And I've even had someone say to me today, she's like, I love your stuff. Having said that, I need to hide your posts when they come up because of my children. And I was like, yes, I totally get it. And I've even had women ask me if they could share some of my content, but then just sort of altering the message to make sure that it doesn't have all the fucks in it, which is kind of cool. I dig it, as long as the message gets out there and it inspires women to be more of a badass, and so be it. So we did that, which was really cool. And then we checked into the new hotel, bit of a walking around. As I said, Phoenix is beautiful, by the way. I've never been here before. Super beautiful. Started the conference today, being recognized for being one of the top leaders, which is, of course, very humbling, and just goes to show that, hard hustle works and pays off if you stay consistent, but also if you do the inner work. It always comes down to that. At the end of the day, you can hustle your ass off, you can have the best strategies, but if you're not doing the inner work and, you know, you're overcoming your own fears, you know, where you're holding yourself back, if you're not stretching yourself, if you're not up leveling, if you're not changing your belief system so that it's serving you, so that you have utter authentic confidence in yourself, then quite frankly you're screwed. Or, you know, you'll get to a certain level of success and then eventually you'll self-sabotage yourself, right? So if you've been following the previous videos, you're probably aware that I'm running a 5-day authentic confidence challenge. It's been getting amazing feedback. I love seeing the action in the group. Women are stepping up. They're stepping into their brave, putting videos out there of themselves, sharing really vulnerable, you know, showing vulnerability in terms of why and how confidence is holding them back. And that's what it's truly about, you know, creating a safe space where it's okay to be fucking vulnerable, because, you know, vulnerability is such an important key to moving, again, your head into your heart. And that's, again, where, you know, we go wrong so often, because, again, we are thinking about what to do, how to do it. We get so conscious of what it is that we have to do that we forget to shift our head into a heart space. And I was talking about that a lot today, about, you know, getting yourself out of your own way and remembering to come back into your heart space. Because if you do that, regardless of what you share, regardless of how you putting your message out there, how you know, rocking your business, rocking your relationships, you know, you're speaking the truth and no one can mess with that, right? So we've talked about, over the last 2 days, we've talked about clarity. If you haven't seen the video, you know, scroll down on my Facebook wall. If you're in my group, there's a link, you can check it out. It's not too late to join, you know, the challenge, of course. And we've talked about truly stepping up in terms of figuring out exactly what it is that you want, being specific, one of my favorite words, and then having an underlying reason why, right? An emotional connection to what it is that you truly want. Because we get, again, so focused on the what that we don't, you know, make that connection in terms of understanding on a deep emotional level what it's truly about, right? So again, what is all here? Why having that emotional connection is all here, is all heart space, okay? Then we went on to talk about courage. Courage is big, right? When you act despite of fear, that's when courage shows up. By the way, I'm getting a couple of notifications that my connection isn't super strong, so I'm hoping that you can hear me. If you can't hear me, by all means, let me know. And of course, if you've got any questions, someone's ringing me on Facebook. This is what happens when you're live. If you've got any questions, then by all means, come and pop them into the question, you know, into the comment section below. If you prefer to DM me, direct message me, you can do that too. But courage is a great one too, and I'm going to share something that I've shared about today, that when it comes to stepping outside your comfort zone, and I've talked about this on the call yesterday, so I want to give you a different take on that before I move on to congruency. But another way of looking at stepping outside your comfort zone is, you know, you going to take action. Think about, number one, what's the intention behind it, right? Like, what is it that, you know, your goal, or what do you want to actually get out of it? Let's say you're having a conversation with a potential client, or you're building relationship, you're networking, you're sharing, you know, your message, and you get stuck in your head about what to say, how to say it, how to best present yourself, what's your elevator pitch, what if they ask you a question that you're not prepared for, what if you look stupid, and so forth. So, you know, let's have that as an example. So, you know, what's the intention to get out of it? And again, you know, especially when it comes to doing your business, like you don't want to come from a point of, I need to get a new client, or, you know, I need to sign this deal, I need to make more money, or I need to get a new customer. That's all head stuff. You got to get back into your heart. What is it truly about? And let's face it, it's about relationship and adding value. So really, if you're having a conversation with someone, you know, ask yourself, instead of thinking about how to make a sale or how to get, I don't know, a prospect conversation or something, or referral, or whatever it is that you think you want or you think you need. Think about how you can actually add value, and coming from that space is such a different feel, because again, it's not actually about you, but it's about how you can make an impact, how you can actually help the person, and of course in return you're always going to look after yourself. So number one, not detach, so you need to know what it is, what's the outcome, what's the intention, what's the goal of that particular, let's say, conversation. Secondly, you want to stop assuming. Okay, we all have stories running in our heads of assuming what people could say, how they could react, how they might judge you, what they could think about you, and so forth. Or, we could already be coming in with a closed mind thinking, oh my God, that person, as soon as they say something, they might not even be the right person, and so forth. And that's all good, but again, it's just all head stuff, and it's actually blocking you from doing the do, which is adding value, building relationships, and actually, sharing your message in an authentic way by you showing up and being you, who you are. And then number three, what you want to do is you want to detach from the outcome. So, again, stop thinking about making a sale, stop thinking about getting a customer sign up or, into your programs or services, what you're offering, but absolutely detach from the outcome. And that person's persistent. I would love to talk to you, but I am doing a live call. So if you're detaching from the outcome, I might actually just send them a message. I'm just going to do that. Hang on with me. Bear with me 1 second. Just doing a live. Oh, that's so funny. But hey, that's the thing of doing things live, right? Cool bananas. Okay, gotcha. I'm back. Detaching from the outcome. So again, moving your head into your heart. He's like, sorry, that's all good. So that's the three things of stepping outside your comfort zone. But again, today we actually want to talk about congruency, which is day 3. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Hey, beautiful. Again, if you are on the call, make sure, you say hi, ask questions. Maybe you want to share some feedback of what you've learned over the last few calls, or what you've been implementing, or again, if you've been, if you are doing the challenge. I know the girls that are on the call, you are doing the challenge, so maybe you want to share some highlights or you want to ask some questions, because that is your time to do that. Obviously, again, for me, it's about adding value, and that's my number one priority. And then obviously I'm hoping to do my best, trusting that I do what I am doing and you will get exactly what you need to get out of that. But let's talk about congruency. See, the problem is that, again, we're so much in our head that we tend to forget to to stay true to ourselves, and I know that the more congruent you can be to who you are, the more you're going to step into your brave, the more you're going to have the courage to step up, share your message, and that over time, leads to conviction, because you are 100% certain of, who you are and what you stand for, what your message is, what your purpose is, what your, business packages, so to speak, because let's face it, I've talked about this before, that at the end of the day, if you are in business, your business is an extension of who you are anyway. And I've mentioned that today at the talk, saying that, to me, how I show up is exactly who I am. And the way I show up on Facebook is exactly who I am in real life. And I get told that a lot when people meet me, after, sort of watching me on Facebook. They're like, oh my God, you're exactly like what you like on Facebook. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. And that's what I would like it to be. And I would like it, I would hope so that that's, what it's supposed to be about. But then also, if I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm exactly the same. When I'm doing my business, I'm coaching my clients, I'm exactly the same. If I'm going out, having a good time, having a few drinks, I'm exactly the same. If I'm in my relationships, I'm exactly the same. So, that we should be back. I am completely aware of, who I am, what I stand for, what my values are, what's important to me, what my priorities are, and I am not diverting from my plan whatsoever. If anything, I'm growing as a person, because obviously we learn as we go and we up level. We hit new barriers and then we smash through them, and that's why I know that when shit hits the fan and I'm having a breakdown, that of course it's going to lead to a breakthrough. So I'm cool with that. But congruency is so important, you know what I mean? Like it will show in everything that you do. And so it's really important that if you're not being authentically confident, that perhaps there is a bit of a mismatch of what you're putting out there, how you're presenting yourself, how you're sharing your message to who you are. And that could be that you're perhaps doing things because you think that you're supposed to do them because that's how we build a business, or that's how we do marketing, or that's how we do XYZ strategy. It could also be that you're actually holding yourself back and you're not sharing all of you. You're not letting people see all of you and not letting them hear all of you. Like, you've got a voice, like you've got a gift, like you've got a purpose, like you've got an awesome message to share. And if you're not being congruent to yourself, then that's a mismatch, and you're actually not fully stepping into your brave. You're not fully stepping into your potential, not realizing your potential. And so of course you're not going to have all that you want based on your own terms. You're going to get an okay life, and you know what I mean, like I said, we all have already amazing lives. It's not that there's actually anything wrong, but we are here because we want to step up to that next level, right? We're talking about making a massive fucking impact. We're talking about creating the freedom and the dream lifestyle on your own terms, not based on a caged life, doing things that you think you should be doing. So again, knowing what you stand for, being completely congruent to yourself, and then standing up for yourself every single day, that leads to conviction. And conviction is hot. Like, conviction is so powerful, and no one can mess with you. And that in turn leads to consistency, because you realize that what, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm actually being myself. I'm putting myself out there. I'm sharing my content, whether you're doing writing, whether you're doing videos, whether you're working with clients, whether you're putting products out there, whether you're building relationships, whatever it is. You keep doing more of it, and you create a level of consistency. And we all know that as much as you got to do the inner work, if you want to be successful, you got to do the hustle. You got to do the do, and that means you have to have the consistency in doing what you need to do every single day. That over time, of course, leads to results, but it also leads to certainty, right? That leads to certainty, that knowing that you showing up, being completely true to yourself, having the congruency, being in alignment, knowing what you stand for, what your message is, knowing what your boundaries are, knowing what you stand for, putting your message out there based on who you are and what you want to do in terms of adding value and making an impact, actually making a difference in people's lives. That leads to certainty, knowing that, this shit works, and it builds certainty in yourself, knowing that, it's actually okay to be myself, and that leads to excitement, because then you just want to do more of it. It kind of gets addictive, right? And then when you hit another roadblock, that's kind of cool, and you deal with that shit. And